Right. Anyhow, happy Friday. I don't know what day it's today. Today, 3rd, 4th. Happy Friday, the first Friday of the month. We need to get to work. We have a lot of work to do. We are working the kinks out, and this week was a core week. Now, we've talked about core, we've talked about abs, and they are two different things technically. Some people look at core as quadrants, right? Front, upper, front, lower, lower posterior, upper posterior. And you can also talk about core as any muscle that touches your spine, not necessarily abs, right? So we need to get to warm up. Well, today's warm up we've done before isn't as movement as we normally do, right? Not as moving. We have our 1 minute wall sit, 3 different wall sits, our 1 minute plank, 3 different planks, 3 rounds of this stuff, which I know you're probably like, oh, bummer. Anyhow, it's time to get going. Find your wall, grab a wall, any wall will do. You have 1 minute. Ready, set, go. Wall sits, the key, the number one thing I want you to think about, we've talked about it before, 90-degree angle at your hips, 90-degree angle at your knees, 90-degree angle at your ankles, unless you're doing calves. Now, you can have your feet further out, you lose your angles. You can have your feet further in, you lose your angles. So there is no benefit from that. I want you to focus on those 90-degree angles. But if you're doing calves, you're either isometrically not moving up on your toes, or you're concentrically moving up on your toes. And the only way you guys at home get your soleus, the underneath calf, is by doing seated calf wall sits. At our gym, right, we have a seated calf machine. When your knees are bent and you do calves, believe it or not, it is different than doing straight-legged calves. 2, 1, relax and breathe from those regular wall sits. You're then going to have your regular plank, and I keep using that word regular, and I'll talk about that more in a second. You're going to be in plank position. Ready? Set, go. Well, regular plank, you're on your elbows and your toes. You're gonna breathe. If your butt is a little bit up, that's okay, as long as you're doing that to engage your abs more. But for the most part, I want your body parallel to the ground. But what does regular mean? Well, it's kind of like a starting point. I'm on my elbows, I'm on my toes. That's considered a low plank. You can be on your hands and toes. That's a high plank, and you actually do work a little harder in a low plank. Take the weight out of your elbows. Okay, that's kind of hard. Take the weight out of your shoulders. Take the weight out of your toes and put it in the center of your body. And try to breathe. Right? Regular plank I refers to as low plank. And there's no deviation like we'll do here soon. 2, 1, and relax. And breathe. And take your time. And there's no rush. You got to get on and off the ground. I'm sorry about that. Wall sit again is next. Wide stance. Now I don't need something ridiculously wide, but I definitely want it wider than what it was earlier. Ready? Set. Go. 1 minute wide wall sit. You're wider than you were earlier. However, there still should be a 90-degree angle at your hips, 90-degree angle at your knee, 90-degree angle at your ankles, unless you're doing those calves. Back against the wall, head against the wall, butt against the wall. And believe it or not, you're actually technically, and I want you to memorize this, you're not pushing against the wall. Huh? You are sitting against the wall, but you shouldn't be pushing back on the wall. And the visual I want you to have is that if you're in an ice skating rink wearing ice skates, or you have socks on a hardwood floor, and you would be sliding if you were pushing against the wall. I don't want you to slide away, right? I want you sitting against the wall, not pushing against the wall. So I know it's kind of weird. You actually will work harder. You might last longer. 3, 2, 1, and breathe. You know, there's little focus points I like to have in your workouts sometimes. When you're ready, you're back on your plank position. I would love rotational planks. and that is rotating out of plank. If you do not want to do them, you can do V-ups. 1 minute of rotational planks. Ready, set, go. You start in that plank position. Again, your body will always work a little harder if you're in a low plank position. Can you do high planks on rotational planks? You can. I have personally, unfortunately, seen people hyperextend their elbows because it requires more balance, right? I got to work right on this, which means you put a lot of pressure on the wrist and elbow. So you can do a high plank, rotational plank. However, don't lose balance and don't force the motion. 60 seconds of rotational planks, not 60 reps of rotational planks. Big and slow. As we've been doing this over 8-9 months now, you should be getting a little better at things like this. 3, 2, 1, and breathe. And again, there's no rush. Let the component of getting on and off the ground be part of your warm-up. I know it might not be enjoyable, but you at least got to do it. One more wall sit. I do want your feet and knees touching on your narrow wall sit. Ready, set, go. 90-degree angle at your hips, knees, ankles, unless you're doing calves. Feet, knees touching. But I don't want your feet and knees touching on a narrow squat or a low and narrow leg press. But I do want them touching on a wall sit because there's an isometric contraction. You are not moving, so there's no mechanical motion. Whenever you squat, your tibia internally and externally rotates on your femur when you do the concentric motion. We're not moving, so I'm not worried about any mechanical motion. And you get a little more vastus medialis, your inner quad, semimembranosus, your inner hamstring, versus the wide squat was your vastus lateralis, your outer quad, and your semitendinosus, your outer hamstring. Blah, 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 blah. Go take a trainer's test. Let me know what happens. You guys should be good at those things. 2, 1, and relax, and breathe, and focus. One more set of your plank. If you do not want to do elevator planks, which I'll show you, elbows and hands to elbows, or plank swimmers, then just hold a regular plank one more time. Here we go. Elevator plank or plank swimmers, you're going to see both. Ready? Go. Elevator planks is elbows to hands to elbows, low plank to high plank, and I want you to mix up your leading hand and arm. Plank swimmers, just like your regular swimmers, but you're in plank position. Again, low plank, your body works harder. High plank, you have to work harder because of the balance. Mix it up as you wish. And this is a great exercise. You can do a little bit of both as you're in those positions. Elevator plank, elbows to hands to elbows. Plank swimmers, you could be on your hands or elbows, mixing up your lead hand and arm as you need to on your plank swimmers and elevator planks. Almost there. 3, 2, 1, and relax, and breathe, and focus. And I want you to think you're technically done with core for the week. And we had a lot of core this week, so you could label that as your isometric core start. If you have ankle weights, I have one over there, but I'm not going to crawl over and get it. If you have an ankle weight, singular statement, put it on your right ankle. If you don't have an ankle weight, that's okay. Ankle weight goes on, it would be awesome. You know what I always say, right? The word normally and usually by Tim actually yields unchanged. It's static. So I like the words more often than not. When we do our hip routine, we combo, we do rights and lefts and blah, 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 blah. Today, we have 3 consecutive rights. Then we're going to do an ab, 3 consecutive lefts. Then we'll do the same ab for less, blah, 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 blah. Let's get to work. I wanted to give you time to put on your ankle weights. When you're ready, you're laying on your left side, your right side is up. You guys have done this. 25 clockwise circles. A stop sign is not a circle, right? What is it, a hexagonal, 8, right? Not a heptagonal, 7, right? Anyhow, smooth is why I'm talking about that. I don't want it jiggity, jaggedy, riggedy, raggedy. I want a smooth circle, 18 to 24 inches in diameter. Keep your upper body still. Don't move your upper body because then your hips don't have to work as hard. Don't bend and straighten your legs because then you start using your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes. Keep your leg straight on your 25 clockwise circles. No movement on the upper body. Your lower body is moving on to your upper body, 25 clockwise circles. When you get done, which you shouldn't be, but when you get done, rest for a second. Then you're going to do 25 counterclockwise circles. We more often than not do something between our hips, whether we do right side, then left side, and then right side, left side, or we do an upper body thing or not. So these hips are going to crush you, and I'm sorry. No, not really. Anyhow, 25 clockwise circles. It is a smooth motion. 25 counterclockwise circles. I still want smooth, but you're already going to be burning because we more often than not do something else. Oh my goodness, it's burning. Don't let your upper body move, and don't bend and straighten your leg because I want your hips to work. When you do the right hip, clockwise circles is front to back. It's anterior to posterior. Your front hips work and then your posterior hips work. When you do your counterclockwise circles, right, it's back to front. It's posterior to anterior. Your posterior muscles turn on and then your anterior muscles have to turn on. Blah, 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 blah. And then you'll rest. And then you'll do single lateral leg lifts, no circles. And remember, you have done these hips many times. They should be burning by this point. That is the idea on your single lateral leg lifts, no circles. A lot of hips in a very short amount of time. 25 clockwise circles, 25 counterclockwise circles. Remember, if you got that ankle weight on, you should be burning. If you don't have that ankle weight on, you're probably still burning. You just might have lasted a little bit longer. That was 75 consecutive, but different hips. When you get done, you've got 50 upper body motion abs. Sit-ups, we've talked about that a million times. Different positions. Toe touches, your legs are up. Anything where your lower body doesn't move. I want that hip to rest a little bit. 25 single lateral leg lifts, and then you're going to do 50 sit-ups, legs straight or knees bent, feet wide, feet narrow, lay on the ground, lay on a ball, lay on a bench, upper body moves onto your lower body, sit-ups. Breathe and focus on your sit-ups. 50, 50, 50, por favor. There's no rush, you guys. That was 3 of our several hips coming your way. We have a right ab, left ab. We move on to other things. We'll come back and do the different ones later on. 5 total circuits today. You have the warm-up isometric planks with wall sits. You've got your hips and abs times 2. We have 2 different other circuits coming your way. Again, sit-ups or toe touches. Your upper body is moving onto your lower body. And remember the other day, we did the single leg toe touches. Remember, you can mix up how you do your sit-ups and how you do your toe touches. I just don't want your legs to move during the exercise. I don't mind if you need to move your legs around to change your exercise. 50, 5-0, please. You shouldn't be there, right? That's the intent, slow and steady. But when you do get there, you're going to put that ankle weight on your left ankle if you have the ankle weight. If you don't have the ankle weight, that's fine. We've talked so many times about pace. Pace is all about rest. Do you need more rest or less rest? Tempo, I brought that word out a lot lately. Tempo is actually associated to movement. Tempo is how fast you are moving, right? So if you have a lot of weight, you will naturally have a slower, lower tempo. If you don't have a lot of weight, by accident, people tend to increase their tempo. And then that word fitness does not mean fast. It normally means higher pace and higher tempo. Low rest, lots of motion. When you do get done though, 50 abs are done, you'll have your left hip 25 clockwise circles. We have done these hip routines before. When you do your left hip clockwise circles, it's actually the opposite as the right hip technically, but I just use the direction of the circle so you remember what you did. 25 clockwise circles. My spiel on the recorded video from yesterday and with the other classes today, we do so many things unilateral. You get in and out of your car the same way because you have to, right? Unless you were driving one time and a passenger the next time and you switched a lot, that's the only way you would balance out that. And that's a big one. People don't realize how big that one is. You've got your shower. Most people get in and out of the shower the same way, right? It's just a natural habit. And I know you might think it's similar, but it's not. Throwing, catching, kicking, planting, jumping. I mean, there's so many things we do one-sided that really come out right now. 25 clockwise circles on the left, 25 counterclockwise circles on the left. I am not saying you should be there. Remember, I always try to be a little bit ahead of you. Plus, when we get done to the circuit, I have to talk about the next circuit. So you have plenty of time to, quote unquote, catch up. Anyhow, I have just talked about the mobility of joints, the difference in sides of things we do, putting on your seatbelt, right? Brushing your teeth, reaching up in the cupboards to grab something, put something away, carrying the groceries in the car, right? Getting in and out of your car. You know, for those of you who've had children, right? I mean, how many times you carry them on one side, feed them on one side, kick them in the ass on one side? I can say that because I've kicked my children in the butt nicely. Get your buns moving. Got to be careful on that one. A nice, gentle love tap. 25 clockwise circles on the left, 25 counterclockwise circles on the left, and then you have your single lateral leg lifts on the left. Remember, I'm not saying you should be there, but hopefully everybody is in this circuit somewhere. You might feel stronger on one side. You might feel like one side moves better. So one side might be more mobile, one side might be stronger. My left hip is less mobile. It doesn't move as well, but it is way stronger because that's my planting leg. That's what I'm going to jump off of. Three consecutive but different hip exercises like you did on the right, you're on the left. 75 total left hips. When that is done, you have 25 more upper body motion abs. So earlier was 50, now you're on 25 on your upper body motion abs, which you won't do again today. That'll be it. And you know me and my simple numbers. That was 6 timed minutes earlier, 75 right hip, 75 left hip, and 75 upper body motion abs. We just got there in different ways. Upper body motion abs, your up body is moving onto your lower body. Sit-ups, Legs straight, knees bent, feet wide, feet narrow, one leg straight, one leg bent, laying on a ground, laying on a ball, laying on a bench. There's so many ways a sit-up changes. There's so many different body and leg positions. Toe touches, your legs are up. You lay on something stable. And again, you're shortening a muscle with a position, and you're shortening the muscle with the exercise. At the gym, you have jackknives, a loaded vertical sit-up. And again, I want to start talking about the next circuit. I don't expect you to be there, right? I have my spiels. After those 3 different left hips for 75 reps, you have that 25 upper body motion ab again. End of that circuit. You'll be off the ground for a while. We're going to turn the dial up for a little while. I didn't say we're going to go faster. We're just going to turn the dial up. But we have 2 of these circuits, 2 movement exercises, lower body, upper body. So today there's minimal upper body. You guys, you could say minimal lower body too, but hips and stuff. Let everybody clear out their space. You'll take off that ankle weight. Remember, I don't expect you to be done yet. But your circuit, I just want to talk about it. You've got your stiff-legged deadlift row, which we have done. What I want you to think about, hips, 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 hips. Your hips move a ton. Lengthen those posterior muscles. Get low, stay low, and row. Again, we've done it before. Hips, 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 hips. Lengthen, lengthen, support, pull, and breathe. Your stiff-legged deadlift rows, the numbers will change. The reps are low. We're going to combo with our 5 different components that we kind of did on Monday. We'll have a little bit of legs, we have a little bit of agility, a little bit of plyometrics, a little bit of mobility. So it's a very simple circuit per se, but I need your eyes and ears. When you are ready, 20 total stiff-legged deadlift rows. You could also count it as 10 revolutions. It is slow. It is low. You need to focus. And of course, maybe the weight starts heavy, or maybe you can eventually get heavy. But I definitely want slow and low. Is it better to row lower? I'm not going to say yes, but you do use more muscles when you're able to row lower, and that can be a good thing. It can also potentially cause a bad thing. And I don't want you guys to ever be scared. It's just one of those things that can happen. Stiff-legged deadlift row. You've got 20 total movements or 10 revolutions, and that number will change. It'll go down. Round 1, put the weight down. You can do 20 total alternating stationary forward lunges or stationary lateral lunges. I don't want to say fast, but I will say fitness. You are going to increase your pace, which means you're going to decrease your rest. You're going to increase your tempo, which means the motion might be a little bit quicker. And we're going to adjust your weight so all of that can happen while you hit your reps. I know it's corny, and I've been educating you guys as much as I can if you wanted that. And of course, that's my way of explaining everything when I can't see you. Okay? Again, round 1 was 20 total movements or 10 revolutions on your stiff-legged row. You had the 20 total stationary forward or stationary lateral lunges. I want to be a little bit ahead of you. Round 2 is 16 total motions or 8 revolutions. So we're going to go down by 4 reps or 2 revolutions. Again, maybe it gets heavier with physical weight, or maybe it gets slower and you have the time under tension. But I definitely want slow and low on your stiff-legged deadlift rows. The combos we're going to repeat again later. So don't get me wrong, we're going to repeat these things. I don't want to label today as a major leg day, but you do have some legs, some abs, plenty of hips, some upper body. Round 2, 16 total motions or 8 revolutions. And they're going to have 20 either stationary reverse lunges. You could do walking forward lunges if you have space, or you can do step-ups if you have the tool. Okay? Step-ups I've always asterisked. Lower, heavier quads, higher is always hamstrings. But you might have to change the weight to go higher. You might have to change your tool to go higher. But today I just want to put that in there. Round 2 is 16 total stiff-legged deadlift rows. If you're counting it as 8 revolutions, good. Or however you got to get it right. A lot of people get lost on these numbers. And then you're going to have 20 total stationary reverse lunges, or walking forward lunges, or step-ups. Remember, I am trying to push the pace a little bit. I didn't say move a lot faster, but I don't mind a little pace, a little tempo, yielding a little fitness. Round 3, I'm trying to be a little bit ahead of you. Round 3 is 12 total movements or 6 revolutions. Hips, they move a ton. You lengthen your hamstrings, your glutes, your lower back. Right, I do slow this motion down. You get low, you stay low, and you row. It can definitely handle a fair amount of weight, but you might, if you did stiff-leggeds by itself, you could probably handle a little bit more weight than doing the stiff-legged deadlift rows. 12 total motions or 6 revolutions on round 3, and then you're going to do 20 on your agility. And remember, if it's quick, it's revolutions. If it's a little bit bigger and slower, it's reps. You've got your high knees, you've got your butt kicks, you've got your jumping jacks, you've got your bench taps. But remember, if it's a little bit quicker, if it's a little bit smaller, it's revolutions. Count one leg. Don't count both legs. If it's a little bigger, a little slower, a little harder, then it's your reps. Round 3 is your 20 agility. Again, you're going to do this a little bit later on. So I don't mind a little burning happening right now. I don't mind a little heart rate happening right now. I would love weight changes if you can. But if not, when you get down back to the stiff-legged deadlifts, slow it down. Round 4. Remember, I am hoping to be a little ahead of you. Round 4, 8 total reps or 4 revolutions. Hamstrings, glutes, good lower back, good strong support, good middle back. 8 total motions or 4 revolutions on your stiff-legged deadlift rows. Remember, we don't do low reps a lot because I want weight to associate with it. But if we don't have that weight, then that's a slower, bigger motion. And a lot of people want it, and I love it, I get it. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's hard to go slow. Well, yeah. Round 4, 8 total motions or 4 revolutions, and then you're on your plyometrics. You've got jump squats. I don't ask that very much. Try. I've got split jumps. I've got burpees. Well, again, I don't ask that a lot, but if none of those things can happen, remember you can do your pulsating squats, or you can do your split squats, again, if you have to. So round 4 on this circuit and later on is your plyometrics. 20 jump squats, split jumps, burpees, or pulsating squats or split squats. Agility is not a plyometric. There is impact, there's not a lot of power, it's quicker. Plyometrics, a little bit bigger, a little bit slower, a lot more power, and a lot more impact. That's the biggest difference between plyometrics and agility. After your 20 plyometrics, I hope I'm a little ahead of you. Round 5, 4 total motions or 2 revolutions on your stiff-legged deadlift row. Remember, I want the bigger slower, lower, stiff-legged deadlift row. And then you're gonna be on your mobility, standing scissors, standing runners, Jack LaLanne's. We have utilized those movements a lot when you warm up, but we also use them on our maintenance of heart rate and fitness and motion. It's a great way to finish a circuit, finish your workout, start a workout. Round 5, 4 total motions or 2 revolutions, and then you have your 20 on your mobility, which is joint motion. Remember, I want you guys doing this stuff. I want you to focus on you. My intent is I'm always a little bit ahead of you. I don't want to be a lot ahead of you, but I want you to work and exert. This last 2 weeks, we've had some big, gnarly workouts. Today, still good. We're still working. The rhythm changed a tiny bit on the hip stuff. After you get down to round 5, the 4 total motions or 2 revolutions with your 20 on your mobility. Again, if you have an ankle weight, put it on your right ankle. We have 3 more different hips to do. That's cool. We have either abs or glutes, so you can get abs or glutes. That's cool. Then we'll have our left hip, right? It'll sound just like earlier, but it'll be different exercises. Okay? There's no rush. All right? This is a great way to kind of get caught up and get put back together. And that last circuit we do today will sound like the circuit we just did. Ankle weight is on your right leg, or left leg, but whatever leg you choose, stick with it. You've got your donkey kicks, up and back on your donkey kicks. A lot of people just go back, or they just go up. I want you to go up and back. 25 right donkey kicks, slow, take your time. 25 right fire hydrants. I want the leg to go out. Remember, we're going to talk about it again. And then you'll lay on your back for your 25 right front raise, and I want that toe pointed out. These 3 hips are nearly as detrimental as the first 3 hips. However, your job is to slow it down. So the next circuit, you got your 25 right donkey kicks. Your leg goes out and up. You have your 25 right fire hydrants. Your leg goes out. And then you'll have your lay on your back, 25 front raise, and I want the toe pointed out. Take your time, do the motion, focus on you. It's 75 more reps of different hips. When that is done, which I'll give you a minute or 2 to get there, right? Not in a hurry. We'll have our hip motion abs or glutes. Then we'll get the other side, right? This circuit is very similar to earlier. Take your time. Posterior hips. You got your buns, that's your glute maximus. You've got your lower back, external spinae, and your lats. So right between the 2, I'll use this side, right, is your posterior hips. It's above your butt, below your back, piriformis, quadratus labortum. You got your external spinae part there, glute minimus, minimus and medius. Like there's a lot going on there, okay? 25 right donkey kicks, 25 right fire hydrants. That is a mobility exercise, joint mobility. It also is great on the posterior hips. Like earlier, don't let your upper body move. Only your lower body is moving onto your upper body. Don't bend and straighten your legs on the fire hydrants. You definitely bend and straighten your leg on the donkey kick. And then again, slow and smooth. Hip exercises are smooth. When you do get to that front raise, you're laying on your back, your knee is ever so slightly bent, that toe is pointed out, because I'm trying to get your hip flexors and groin. If that toe is up, then all you're going to do is get your upper quad, your quad origin. I want your hip flexors and your groin on the toe out front raise. 25 on all 3 things yields a 75 total reps. When you do get done, ankle weight comes off. You have 50 hip motion abs or glutes. And I'm going to show those now because I'm trying to be ahead of you. Take Take your time. I did push the pace and tempo a little bit. After those hips, you got reverse crunches. Both legs are moving. You've done that before. You've got V-ups. Everything is moving. You've got sit-up scissors. Again, almost everything is moving. Or you can do your hip bridges and you can play with your feet. Regular, wide, narrow, higher, or your weight, hips, heavier. So 50 hip motion abs, or you can do more glutes. The benefit of maybe doing more glutes is that you're working all these hips, which do activate your glutes, and now you can kind of go in for the kill and really get those glutes. Again, on hip bridges, you got regular feet width, right? Shoulder width apart, wider feet, narrower feet. Your feet can be elevated, up on a ball, up on a bench, right? Your job is to maintain and or increase motion. You can have weight on your hips. You can make your hips heavier. Again, I'm not pushing you to do glutes, but if you're like, oh, I kind of want to get some buns, this is a great opportunity on a hip day to get some more glutes. We more often than not do plenty of abs. Take your time. After that right hip circuit, 25 right donkey kicks, 25 right fire hydrants, 25 right front raises. You're on your 50 hip motion abs, reverse crunches, V-ups, slow scissors, or hip bridges for your glutes. When that is done, take your time. When that is done, you got your left hip the same way you did the right hip. You got the donkey kicks, the fire hydrants, the front raises, and then you'll do 25 more hip motion abs or glutes. At 12:45-ish, so in about 4 or 5 minutes, I'll start talking about the last circuit. The last circuit should sound like the one we did earlier. It's a little bit quicker. We don't go too fast. But most people earlier got done at 9:53. It's about a 49 minute workout. Again, if I should be a little ahead of you, right? You got the 50 hip motion abs and or glutes. Hopefully you're still doing it or you're finishing it up slowly. You'll have the 25 left donkey kicks. You're not creating momentum. It is smooth. Don't let your upper body move onto your lower body. Your lower body is supposed to move on your upper body. You've got fire hydrants. Again, I hear a lot of people using the down leg as leverage and force. Try to balance your weight out on your hands a little bit more than that down leg so that left hip can move and it's smooth. You're not creating exertion or power. Don't get me wrong, you do need the down leg a little bit. But most people didn't feel it on the other side because that hip and leg wasn't tired. But that right hip has already been used. Maybe you did some glutes, so that right hip is ready to work. 25 left donkey kicks, 25 left fire hydrants, 25 left front raises, and then you have the 25 more hip motion abs and or glutes. I'll let you finish off that here. You've got about 2 to 3 more minutes, so take your time, and I'll start talking about the next circuit. It'll sound very similar to earlier. And just remember, there's so much we do that we don't have to think about. We use one side more. Maybe it's for stability and balance and power, like all those things, or maybe it is actually directly associated to moving, right? If you are moving a lot one way, that is a huge factor. If you're using one side more, that's a huge factor. Take your time. Enjoy the motion. Again, I didn't use the word easy, but say it's very simple, it's very thorough, it's very effective. We had Monday, I would say, was probably the harder workout of the week, like very hard, very tough on the body, a lot of work happened. And that was what, workout 110, I think it was, or 111, what other days are. Wednesday was great, it was the opposite, right? challenging, difficult, but not as invasive. Today, nice good finish off to the week. Feeling all balanced, ready for more. Got a good weekend ahead of you. Again, remember, you got those 3 different left hips. The donkey kick, the fire hydrant, the front raise. You have 25 more hip motion abs or glutes. Good motion, good focus. And then we have one more circuit to go. It'll sound like what we did earlier. I want to give everybody about a minute tops. I will start talking about it very soon. If you're already there, which that would be impressive, maybe a little too fast on your motion, just give it a second. And if you're way behind, good. I love that. I won't leave you until you're done. Hips was the focus today. You had some abs, you had some glutes. We started the workout finishing off the core focus of the week. You had the stiff-legged row was a pulling, upper body, lower body combo. Your stiff-legged deadlift was a pulling exercise. Your row was a pulling exercise. You had the components of work and fitness in that circuit. We're going to repeat those components in the next circuit, but we're going to do our squat and press. And your squat and press is a push. The squat is more of a push, and your shoulder press is more of a push. Again, if you're talking about motion and stuff, right? We're going to repeat those combos that you did earlier. So when we get to this circuit, right, you're going to turn that dial up a little bit. It doesn't take that long, but round 1 and 2 are the longest 2 rounds. It is okay if you're not there, because remember, you're going to hear it a couple times. You got your squat and you got your press. I don't want thrusters. In fact, I rarely give thrusters. Thrusters is kind of a core squat and you create momentum. I'm not saying they're bad for you. I just think there's so many other things that we can do besides that. Squat, great component of working and then pushing shoulders. It's a 2-movement exercise. You don't create power, you don't create momentum, and it's a way of getting 2 distinct muscle groups, legs and shoulders, in a short amount of time. Round 1, when you get there, 20 total movements or 10 revolutions, just like earlier. My only request, it's slow, there's motion, you don't create momentum or power. So maybe that's 3 requests. It's slow, it's good motion, and you don't create momentum or power. Round 1 of the last circuit, 20 squat press or 10 revolutions. Then they're going to have the 20 total alternating stationary forward lunge or stationary lateral lunge. We did it earlier. This circuit will feel like it burned more than the first circuit because the squat, press, pushing will burn. This combo is considered a superset on your squat. You have the pushing squat and the pushing legs. Plus you've done all those hips. Maybe you did more glutes, maybe you did more abs. And then now you're going to try to finish this workout nice and tough. Round 1, 20 total squat press goes with your 20 on your stationary forward lunge or stationary lateral lunge. Slow the motion down, but I don't mind pace, decreasing rest. I don't mind tempo, a little quicker motion, but make sure the motion is still there, right? Round 2 is 16 squat press. Remember, you might not even be starting the circuit yet, and that's okay. Chime in if you can't hear or don't understand or you got lost. Squat, hips, 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 glutes, 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 posture, breathe. Notice that I'm still talking about that squat. That squat is the focus, right? We've got to do that squat safely. Hips, booty, eyes, thighs, posture, breathe. And then when you stand tall, good posture, good push on that shoulder press. It's a push-push combo. Round 1 was 20 total movements or 10 revolutions. You had the stationary forward lunge or lateral lunge. Round 2 is 16 total movements or 8 revolutions on your squat press. And then you have either your 20 stationary reverse lunges or walking forward lunges if you have room, or step ups if you have the tool. 20 total alternating on the leg combo. Combo 1 was the superset of pushing quad focused legs. Combo 2 is pulling on the combo, stationary reverse lunge, walking forward lunge, or step ups. One of them definitely can happen. Step ups can only happen if you have a tool, and walking forward lunges if you have space. Remember, I want to be a little bit ahead of you. You should kind of know what to do. I don't want you to go crazy fast, but I don't mind increased pace, increased tempo, and using that word fitness. Round 3, 12 squat press. If you're looking at the screen, I've always been a pretty good squatter. Hips, hips, hips. You get low, you stay low, and you get tall, and you push. Personally, when I was trained, right, there's my hands up on my shoulders. My elbows always went to my knees. You don't have to. Hips, hips, hips. Touch, breathe, focus, push. And if that's a new mindset for you, awesome. Hips, 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 elbows to knees, touch, get tall, and push. Again, you don't have to. It's good. 12 total motions or 6 revolutions, 6 of each. And then you're on your 20 agility. High knees, butt kicks, jumping jacks, bench taps, something quick, something smooth. The pace of the circuit is increased. The heart rate is increased. The burn is increased. We're finishing this workout off. It's kind of what I want. Round 3, 12 total squat press, 6 revolutions, 20 on your agility. Round 4, remember I'm ahead of you. I better be a little ahead of you. I don't want to be way ahead of you. And if you're waiting for me, okay, slow your motion down. Round 4 is your 8 squat press or 4 revolutions. Then you're going to have your 20 plyometrics. And that is a jump squat, split jump, burpees. And if you can't do those, you've got your pulsating squats and your split squats. So same numbers as earlier. Today's numbers were very simple. Not a lot of progressions on the numbers this week. Even Wednesday wasn't too bad on the brain. Round 4, 8 total squat press, 4 revolutions. You got your jump squats, your split jumps, your burpees on the plyometric platform, components of exercise. You've got your non-plyometrics, pulsating squats, split squats, right? Get low, stay low, breathe and focus. You have impact as a factor. You've got load creating power a factor. You also have neighbors in your apartment complex. It's a factor. Round 4, right? You got your 8 total squat press or 4 revolutions. You're gonna have your 20 on your plyometrics. Then you have your last round, 4 total squat press, 2 revolutions, and that goes with your 20 mobility. Standing scissors, standing runners, jack lanes. Mobility, motion to finish off your day. I do say it after all my classes, right? When you get done with a workout, especially one like this, where you finished off higher than you started, right? Right? Don't push the off button and go sit down and work. Cool off for a couple minutes. Pat yourself on the back. Go get your nutrition and hydration on, right? Go get the good smoothie, the good chicken salad, right? The nice good turkey sandwich, a little less bread, a little more good stuff, right? Go calm down, right? Don't just go sit down and go to work. If you have energy and time, 5 to 10 minutes of cardio would be great. Your body's efficient. It'd be great on your recovery. If you don't have energy, if you have time, stretch, sit down, calm down, foam roll. I'm going to put together a nice little foam rolling series for you in the next week or two. Again, 5-8 minute thing that you guys can do. Most people can go Google it, but I think if you hear it from me, it might actually happen. Anyhow, happy Friday. Again, when you get done, just say goodbye. I was hopefully a little bit ahead of you.